All right. So I got laundry going, and I hope that it doesn't. Hello. I'm hoping that the laundry machine doesn't make too much noise. I just got home and took the dogs to run a bit, so they're still a little bit amped up. So if they make appearances, that's probably why. Plus, they live here, so they like to make appearances. They decide to be very active in my life. Um, which is quite spectacular. Yes, there. So since we got only last week, she's been here just shy of a week now. Our routine at home is a little different. So everything's a little chaotic, and I haven't been uploading quite as often. But I do want to get back in the routine of uploading about 3 times a week. So here's my attempt. As usual, I have nothing really planned other than a general subject matter I feel like talking about. And today, oh my God, lady, you are tangled in my cord. Okay. There we go. You're good. You're good. I just don't want you tripping yourself. Thank you. You're always so helpful. Yes. Yes. Okay. Um, so damn, what do I feel like talking about today? I really don't have, let me look at my list. Okay. I'm going to look at my list. I keep a list of things in order to um give myself an idea. Um, I feel like I should talk about resources. So, um, these resources are for cult people, but also other people that find. Um, okay, I don't know how to start this. Usually I give it a little bit of thought in advance. Way back in the day, late 90s, early 2000s, when I first left, was late 90s. There were several cult members who left, kind of like a few over the years. And then like 90s to 2000s was kind of like a fairly large wave started leaving. And then 2005 to 2010, there was like a substantial amount, I think, that left around that time. I left late 90s, like mid to late. Um, so, so yeah, so I'm part of the like early-ish crowd, but not quite. A lot of people had left out. Anyways, so resources for those of us who left early on, because we were such an international group, people were all over the place. And so trying to stay in touch has been really, really hard. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine from childhood, and we hadn't talked on the phone in like 20 years. And my friend from work was like, if I have a childhood friend that I haven't talked to in 20 years, like, we're not friends, we're just not. And I said, and I was trying to explain to her how I'm like, basically, I'm from a very different culture, cult culture. And because we grew up all over the place and the internet was still, not what it is today, social media and interacting with friends, like everyone can hate on, social media platforms like Facebook or whatever, but it's a great way for me to keep in touch with my family that still is international and my friends that are also still international. I mean, any of y'all who were around 20 years ago, do you remember how expensive it was just to make a phone call? Like, local phone calls cost money. And definitely if you had a cell phone, goodness, every single minute costs money. Like back in the old days, dial up internet, staying in touch was nothing like it is nowadays. It's just not. And so we have a great site. If you're ever curious about, for never members who want to do some research, if you ever actually want, like, don't take our word for it, any ex-members and whatever, they've constantly put out disclaimers and, well, not disclaimers, they've put out press releases and this and that over the years saying that former members are just bitter and we're angsty and we're rebelling against our parents and all that. Like, you can see for yourself. Xfamily.org, I believe, is the address for it. And they have just the biggest library for the cult's publications anywhere. And you can find tons of literature of theirs. If you really want to see some depraved shit, if you really want to, yeah, there's stuff there. The infamous Davidito story is there. Yeah, they had, well, I don't know if it in its entirety, but there's like, I don't recommend reading their publications. It is very, there's a lot of unpleasantness. But yeah, it's a lot, and there's tons of resources. They link to a lot of other sites and places with information and testimonials and stories and all sorts of things. But it does have just, black and white literature from the cult. If you really want to know exactly what they preached, what they talked about, what sort of things, you can find that. I mean, personal experience is personal experience. If you want facts and figures and stuff like that, statistics, that is the place to go. Several members have contributed to this website over the years. People have uploaded and shared like the publications. They're very well monitored. They double triple check everything that they put on there to make sure that it is, authentic and verifiable and all that. It is a wonderful resource if you're looking for anything related to our cult. They've got it there with links and resources and all sorts of stuff. So timelines, all the stuff that I'm not doing, all the stuff I'm not doing, they do. They've done all that research and all that structure and all that paperwork and all that fun stuff that my chaotic brain just nope. I know places to look to go find those things like this website. But yeah, I just don't. That's not. So if that's something you're interested in and you really want to get more, want to go deep dive and all that, I've done the deep dives into crazy weird shit. If you want to do that, that's a great resource to go to, xfamily.org. I believe that's the right address. I just like automatically swipe until the right thing comes up and I just know where to find it. Plus I have friends that can remind me if I've forgotten. So I have the access to the right resources to find it. So I hope I'm remembering that okay. But what I actually wanted to talk about more was our social media and our interaction, like what the resources were for us ex-cult members. Oh, I will talk more in depth about Safe Passage Foundation if you are a never member or if you are an ex-member or whoever the fuck you are. A lot of people always want to ask, like, what can we do to help? What's something that's helpful? People feel very bad when children are put in harm's way and when it happens to children repeatedly over many, many years. People do feel bad about this, rightfully so. If you want to do something more than just feel bad, there is Safe Passage Foundation and you can donate to them. I will explain more about them later. But Safe Passage Foundation, I will put the name in the title, Safe Passage Foundation, so that you know that in case you do want to contribute. And I'll explain more about them later. I'm going to talk about social media now. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. I need to slow myself down. So, anyways, what am I looking for? I need... Okay. I think Lady is on my stuff. Yes, she is. Okay. So, all right. So, media stuff. All right. So, a lovely ex-member, she was a second generation like myself. She started a website called movingon.org. And that was the place. That was the place for us to go. And yeah, that was the place. We movingon.org. So way back in the day, before places like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and all the other social media places that there are these days, you would have websites with chat rooms. There was also like Yahoo groups. There was, I think Hotmail had something, MSN had something also. But there was places to go, and you would go to chat rooms. They were not quite the same as Facebook. And yeah, this was a great way to socialize with people that were in other parts of the world from you. And so moving on was that place. We would share our stories. We would share things that we remembered about the cult, loved ones we lost. We would share updates on things happening in the cult because a lot of us still had quite a bit of family that was in the cult, so we wanted to stay in the know on what was happening with our loved ones that were still in, the direction the cult was taking, things like that. So it was a great way to connect. We had a source pretty high up that, or several, I don't know, but we would get new publications again, so we could kind of keep an eye on what was happening, if there was anything we could do or things we had to be concerned about as far as our younger siblings went, or older siblings, or whoever was still in. Like, there was, we did, because governments did not step up and do anything really. We had a few house raids, and that was about it. Governments really did not try to do much to protect us kids. So we did our best to keep an eye on, especially leadership that we knew was especially problematic and abusive, and we continue to do that. We continue to do our best to keep track of these adults, and it's very hard because of aliases, and it was very common for people to use different names, and constantly be changing names for whatever reasons, and so it's hard to keep track of them. But this was a way that we could stay connected. I met now ex-boyfriend, but I met a boyfriend on this website. I met so many other ex-members. We would have big chats and we'd reminisce about, well, not even reminisce is the wrong word, but we'd, reminisce about, missing being able to just talk to our family, because when you leave, you're often shunned and excluded, and you don't hear from your family unless they need money from you. And so that is the reality. And we seriously, these dogs will not settle. Are you coming back over? Okay. Yes, it's just musical spots, and only wants me to play with her stuffed toy too. They're very wild. So moving on was just a fabulous resource. We had it for years. That was just the place to go. But eventually, after several years of that being like the place for members, for ex-members, we it finally was archived, because the lovely gal who started it had personal things she needed to take care of, and she put so much time and energy into maintaining this website. And like, honestly, it was a huge sacrifice of her time and resources and everything. I hope she knows just how meaningful it was to all of us who knew we had this safe place to go to talk and connect with people who understood what we were going through in life. I hope she knows. She has since passed away, and of natural causes of illness, and it is so it was so meaningful to so many of us way back when. I started one of my own to shift to more. The cult actually started their own Yahoo group page called Family Youth at Yahoo Groups, back when Yahoo had groups like that. And it was supposed to be a place for current youth members and former youth members that we could communicate and interact. That was supposed to be the premise. And ex-members were allowed in. And now I was still just 2-3 years out when I found this group. And so a lot of these people, I still considered them my friends, even though I hadn't really heard from them and I knew I was being shunned. But I was like, well, maybe they're adjusting things. And so I decided to join that group. And I thought, I'm sure they thought maybe they could witness and make ex-members doubt their choice to leave and possibly return. I think that's something they thought they could do with it. I don't know. Maybe they just thought it was going to be like a chill spot for people. I'm not sure what the intention was. And I'm not sure why they let ex members in, because they clearly didn't want to hear anything we wanted to say unless we had nothing very interesting to say. So I was on this page for a while and chatting, and all the posts were about like this new song they were listening to and this movie, and oh, they're excited about this movie coming out, and I was just like, this is a whole lot of talk about nothing. Like, let's talk about the weather. Let's, oh my God, the water went cold in my shower today. No way. Like, it was just worthless talk about nothing relevant. And it was really annoying to me. I don't like having small talk. I like talking about real things and real issues, and I like having more deep conversations. Small talk is boring. And I mean, I'll do small talk for a hot minute. So they always say in pages nowadays, if you don't like the content, change the content. If you don't like what's being posted somewhere, you want the page to acknowledge something else that you find interesting, then how about you post something and make that group more what you want it to be? So that's precisely what I did. And I'm a little bit of a shit stirrer. So I made a post. I don't even remember what it was about. This is 20 years ago. But I did some post about, I don't know, child abuse, lack of education, starving children, starving children. Yeah, I was trying to say one word and said it. Yeah. Something like that. A little more deep dive stuff. And, all the things that they could be doing that they're not allowed to be doing. And, any opinions on that? And on our upbringing, and, have any of those things changed since I've left? Have they improved? And oh boy, my post got a lot of comments. And, some people were giving me the whole, song and dance that we would give to non-members of, blah, 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 Jesus this, and we love David Berg that, and everything's new and better and shiny and improved, and everyone's so content just living for Jesus. And, some people were still really heavy drinking the Kool-Aid. Other people were like, well, now that you mention it. And so some of the people that were running the site seemed a little bothered with my post, even though it did get a flurry of activity. So, a popular post, that's pretty awesome. Well, after things died down from that post, a couple days later, I don't know, 2-3 days went by, and I was ready to stir some shit again. I had quite a good time the first time around, ruffling a few feathers, so I did it again. I, again, forget what it was about, but something to the effect of some of the atrocities the cult has done and continued to do as far as I was aware of. And do they have any opinions on that? And what do they think? And this time around, I think people were already a little on to me, and definitely the more in charge people, the older ones, seemed to be much more on edge this time. Not just, oh, she's not just a one and done and she'll be handled. She's going to keep coming back and pushing the issues, the real issues, and making people talk. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep bringing it up and make you all talk about it. And I wasn't accusing like any set person about something or anything like that. Can we not chew on my fingers? Where's your toy? Thank you. That's better. So yeah. So that time it stirred up a whole lot of hubbub. Now, this site claimed to not censor anything. They posted everything. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to do, yeah, well, guess who started getting censored? Yeah, apparently non-censorship was not something they completely decided to stick to. So yes, hi, lovely. You're so beautiful. Yes, you are. So, I mean, look at this face here. Look at her. Oh, she's ducked down. Look at the both of them. There's one, and there's the other. Say hi. This camera doesn't go down low, but look at the babies. Okay, the babies. All right, baby break. Yes, a little happy moment here in the midst of all this chaos. Yes, Yes, was Mama stirring up shit on the internet? I was. Yes. So after this, I tried posting a third post. No, 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 we don't do that. So after the second post, I tried making a third post and it did not go through. I tried making a fourth post and it did not go through. So finally, I made a post saying, I thought you guys didn't censor things. That one went through. And they were like, well, some things we find to be too much negativity. And, we just want to stay in the spirit of like joy and happiness and not dwell on like the abuse that we inflict on people. I mean, they didn't say it that self aware, but basically that's what they were saying. Be gentle. Be gentle. Don't mix up the dog for your stuffed toy. So, yeah. Oh my God, she's so distracting. So after that, I was like, all right, fine. Y'all don't want to talk. So I'm going to actually make my own site. I called it X Family Youth at Yahoo Groups. And I made my final post on the original Yahoo group. And I told them, I was like, here's my page where I actually will not censor you. And so anyone's welcome. Current members, ex-members, you can all come. I won't censor any of you. We can talk about anything and everything. We can even talk about movies and music if that's what you want to discuss. But we will also talk about the stuff that you might not want to talk about. It's your choice if you participate. And they actually did post that one. They let that one go through because I didn't say anything shady about the cult, I guess. And so, yeah, I started my group. And I kept it up for a while. It was a fairly active place, mostly chit-chatting, posts about random stuff. It wasn't the same sort of space as Moving On. It was nothing was ever or will ever be the same as the original Moving On. Moving On was revived a while ago, but it never quite, it's just not the same space as it used to be. But yeah, mine was never anything near. Moving On was just special. It just was. But my group did do well. Eventually, we got this one person that was just really toxic, just bullying and I was in beauty school at the time. God, this was a long time ago. And I wasn't paying as close attention to the page. And plus Yahoo Groups was fading out. And so I hadn't really paid a whole lot of attention, and I had people saying, this person, and I'm like, I can't censor him. That's the whole point of this. I can't be all high and mighty that I'm not going to censor and then censor this person. But I did end up, when they wouldn't adjust their behavior, I did just end up banning them and did not let them back in. And so, but by then, the page was already, Yahoo Groups was fading out. The Family Youth one had already faded out. Yeah, everything was changing. This was early 2000s. I was in beauty school, 2003, 2002. I forget. A long time ago. So it was a long time ago. And yeah, all that stuff was phasing out. Things where social media was changing. The internet was changing. But yeah. Oh, that was, man, it was a different era of the internet. It really was. There's something special about that time. And yeah, it's a whole new thing now. Yeah, we have new pages that we go to. We have new places that we keep as safe spaces. I will never mention them. No. There are places that are just for ex-members to discuss things that only we can really understand. With everyone else, we have to explain it. And with other ex-members, we just get it. We just already know. Even if we didn't have the exact same experience, we still know what they're referencing. And so it is nice to have that place to talk to other people with the same background as us. And we will forever keep those spaces safe. We are talking about doing a space where we would be, those of us members who choose to participate, would have an open forum place with the public. and never members. And we have discussed doing that, possibly Reddit, maybe a Facebook, we're not sure. But we'll figure it out at some point. So, yeah, that's, oh, so now that I've talked about my group and moving on was, oh, I hope she knows just how important that site was. But anyways, um, so Safe Passage Foundation is the only foundation that I'm aware of that was started by ex-cult members. It was put together. A lot of us, when we left the cult, we didn't have a safe place to land. In my situation and for my family, we had relatives that were willing to help. But not everyone had that. So we had relatives that were willing to help to a point, and we helped each other to a point. And, we were all just kind of floundering, trying to figure out how to survive life. We were not prepared for the real world. And so leaving was quite the culture shock, no matter where in the world you ended up. It was quite the culture shock. It really was. And it was hard. And this is part of the reason why we've lost so many of our members. We just weren't prepared for the real world, and it can be overwhelming, and we've lost so many to depression and suicide. This is part of the reason. Former members created this group called Safe Passage Foundation. It is an option if you do your Facebook birthday fundraiser. I've only done it a couple times, and both times I've done it for Safe Passage Foundation. You can also, don't come at me for Amazon shit, but I have severe anxiety with going to places at all since losing Jordan. Unless I can go in and out real fast, I have severe anxiety. I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go shopping. I can't, like, anything. I get really overwhelmed and I have severe panic attacks. I have to go with a friend. And so getting a friend that can take the time to come with me and putz around with me while I browse, I have to get that. So I have almost everything delivered to me from Amazon. Okay, so don't come at me. But that's where I have everything come through Amazon. Amazon, if you have it, it has an option for no charge to you. You can sign up for Amazon Smile. Amazon Smile, that means that a percentage of every purchase you make goes toward a charity of your choice. It has the option there as well that your charity of choice can be Safe Passage Foundation. So I use Amazon Smile. I think biannually you renew that you want to continue making this donation. It does not, I will reiterate, it does not cost you anything extra. There is no fee to join Amazon Smile if you are already a Prime member. This is just a free thing, and it can help by contributing. With how much, it's very little, it's a small percentage. With how much I buy on Amazon, I think in the last year I've donated like $20 or so have gone to Safe Passage Foundation. But it's better than nothing. And I am a broke bitch most of the time I got enough to handle what I got. But, self-employed it's wonderful. But I don't have a whole lot of money to be thrown around at everything all the time. So it's a great way to be donating to a charity I'm very passionate about. They are transparent with what they do. They really just try to have some monetary assistance to be able to help former members that are in need. Especially younger, newly exited members that are trying to adjust, that might not have the family structure that they need, or might need a little handout just to, a leg up, So we do try to help if people are in need. We try to group resources together to try to help other ex-members, because we know the struggle is hard, and anyone can relate to falling on hard times. But imagine if your whole life was not preparing you for real life, and when you hit a real life struggle, you have no knowledge or experience on how to handle any of it, because you were never prepared for the real world. So the same kind of struggles all y'all go through, but with zero knowledge on how to manage it and how to get through and how to look for the resources or anything. So this is set up to really help create a bit of a cushion, a bit of, ideally we would love to be able to, you know, sponsor scholarships and things like that, because our education was sorely lacking. Oh my God, education. I need to put that on my list. But our education was sorely lacking, so we would love to do something like that. But as it is, we're pretty much a grassroots charity, so we don't have big bucks like that. But it would be nice if anyone feels so motivated. I would absolutely encourage you to check it out and see if it's something you would feel comfortable donating to. You would be helping a really good cause, to help children that are trafficked, misused, abused, primarily by cults. But I don't think that's exclusive to it. I do think if we were to hear about any children in need, I believe they would help. So yeah, oh, now the washer is really going, so it's probably going to get loud, and I'm going to settle in with the dogs. And I guess that's my video for today about some resources. You can go check out Moving On. It is archived, movingon.org. If you are curious, you can go check it out. It was a lovely place. I don't think Yahoo Groups is still around, but I don't know. The internet will internet and do what it does. Oh, speaking of internet, I always forget to say this. Click the subscribe, hit the like, comment. Oh, there's a bell. You're supposed to ring a bell. I don't know all the things I'm supposed to do so that algorithms will promote me, or I don't know. Do the things. Do the YouTube things and the buttons and the push and the comments, and yeah, do the things. If you're cool enough that you know what the things are, prove it by doing those. All right. I will see y'all another time. Me and the dogs, we're going to chill. We're going to get a little snack and just relax and have a nice mellow evening. So let's have Lady say goodbye. Say ciao, Lady. Say ciao. Ciao.